Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet. Lakers driven by your Southern California Honda dealers. Chris McGee, James Worthy, Mike Bresnahan, the birthday girl Allie Clifton working the postgame with Mike Trudell. The Lakers beat the Boston Celtics in a thriller in the Garden. They are now 4-2 on this road trip. Guys, they were up 96-89, the Lakers, with a minute 40 left. At that point, they had outscored Boston 25-15, I believe, in the fourth quarter, James. Tatum got hot, brought the Celtics back, and the Lakers kind of dodged a bullet there at the end and walked away with the victory. You take it any way you can.
Yeah, I'll take any win over the Celtics. It was a good game. You know, the Celtics are a really good team. It was another preview of what could be in the playoffs, maybe in the finals. Tatum is an exceptional player. He is to Boston what LeBron is to us, a shot maker, guy you can depend on. They played a good game collectively. And the Lakers, you know, they were a little sloppy from time to time, some turnovers in the third and the fourth quarters that kind of, you know, kept Boston in the game. But overall, they played the game they needed to play to win, got away with some a little unlucky bounce of the ball there at the end. Mm-hmm. But we'll take the win on the road.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron much better in the fourth quarter tonight than a couple nights ago against Detroit. He was scoreless in that fourth, and that just doesn't happen. And tonight, much better. Unfortunate turnover towards the end for LeBron. But the two guys I want to highlight are two of the guys that Rob Pelinka during the offseason said, we want these two guys on our team. Schroeder, nice game tonight, 7 assists, the big three-point play the hard way in the final couple minutes. I thought Montrezl Harrell was all over this game.
8 for 10.
8 for 10. You know, he had a bunch of steals and blocks. He was the energy tonight on a team that needed it, coming off a 2-game losing streak. Big offseason acquisitions, and they paid dividends in a big way tonight.
After another poor third quarter from the Lakers, Boston took a 7-point lead. The Lakers flipped that into a 7-point lead late in that fourth quarter. I want to show you down the stretch what happened with the Lakers clinging to a 1-point lead, big game, James. And they go to AD, and you're just going to see good Boston Celtics defense here. The strip by Kemba Walker. And look at this, Jaylen Brown and Caruso. Brown, a little more physical, gets it. Big game. You were saying if you're the Celtics, you have to get that ball to Tatum. Well, there's only 3 seconds left.
You know, Brown's a good player, but, you know, the guy who is a shot maker who had hit the big shot right before that was Tatum. And I think, you know, with that much time left, when Caruso didn't get the steal, I think I might have would have looked for Tatum coming down. But, hey, Boston's a good team. They don't really look for a particular player. That's not the way Stevens coaches them. They do a good job as a team. So that was a good look he had. Can't fault him for that. Just Lakers got the lucky bounce.
Yeah, pretty wild last possession. I mean, you know, someone get the ball and just grab it and shoot it. I mean, it was crazy down the stretch. Kemba was not having a good night. So that's definitely the guy you wanted shooting the ball if you were the Lakers. At one point, he was 1 for 9, I believe. I don't know what he finished on the night. He got a good little look. He kind of pulled back and got Schroeder away from him. It didn't happen. The big news for the Lakers, though, I thought in the third quarter, it was Boston, the kind of their unheralded guys who were doing the big things. Daniel Tice, Robert Williams. Those are the guys who are making the plays. And, of course, Jaylen and Tatum did their stuff, too. The Lakers didn't have a counter for that until that fourth quarter. Trez and Schroeder started doing their thing, kind of creating a little distance for the Lakers.
You mentioned Kemba Walker getting that last shot. It brought me back to the shot the other night from Philly in that same exact spot that, you know, beat the Lakers. But Kemba just 1 for 12 in this game. Night. So I want to show you some fourth quarter numbers, guys. Tobias Harris that's who hit the shot for the Philadelphia 76ers. 25-17. 7 turnovers.
That's the key.
By the Lakers. The Lakers actually had 2 turnovers in that fourth quarter, and they were both late. One by LeBron falling and losing the ball out of bounds, and then the one at AD late there in the quarter. So the Lakers did a really nice job until the very end, last minute of the game.
It got a little chaotic there. What a turnaround from, again, the Detroit game. They gave up a lot of points to a not very good offense in Detroit. The fourth quarter really kind of erased whatever happened 2 days ago. 7 turnovers. That's an amazing number to force against a very good offensive team, a very precise offensive team like the Boston Celtics. LeBron definitely better tonight down the stretch. We didn't see the first part of that. Trez actually got the steal, pushed it up court, and here's, of course, Schroeder's three-point play, the hard one.
For me, that was a big play, James. You needed a bucket, and it was nice to see someone not named LeBron and AD And if you watch that whole sequence, and you'll see it on the highlights in a little bit, Schroeder called for that ball back. He went, attacked, didn't go, gave it back to LeBron, called for it back. He had the matchup with Tice that he liked, and he took him to the rack and got the and one. It was huge.
Yeah, I think Schroeder knows when he can get by someone, particularly if you give it to him in front of the defense where he can see the whole defensive, attack. He's really good at getting those angles. Someone cleared out, and he saw that right and got the and one. It was a nice play. We needed him.
Kind of nice to have a great fourth quarter again, James. Kind of got away from the Lakers the last couple of games, really.
They stayed in there.
Since the Bucks game, right?
They stayed in there on both ends of the floor. Good defense, made Boston hit some tough shots. And then offensively, they found the guys they were supposed to. AD, some good shots. LeBron with the 3 down the stretch. And then, of course, Schroeder getting what he does. And then, Montrez, as you mentioned, active, big buckets down the stretch.
We hope Marcus Smart is okay. We're hearing strained calf. There was rumors that it might be Achilles, but strained calf. That's good news for them. All right, let's get you to the highlight.
I do. It's always exciting, right?
You know what time it is, Brez?
Tell us, James.
It's time to get that Celtic ass.
And what a way to start the show. Happy birthday, Allie. Lakers and Celtics are set to meet for the first time this season. The two teams have split their last 6 games 3-3. And here's a look at how they stack up against each other this season. Both teams are currently third in their conferences. The Celtics are 10-7. The Lakers at 14-6. Very similar statistics. Lakers better defensively. No word on AD yet. He is a game-time decision. I still want to talk about him, guys. The Lakers need him in a big way. They're coming off a couple losses in a row, and history has shown us, James and Brez, that when AD does maybe take a game off, get a little extra rest, he's usually ready to go. So we hope that knee and leg are okay.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case. I know sometimes, and Brez, you're more familiar with this than I am. Coaches like to hold on to that last minute before they let you know if a player's playing or not.
Play some tricks.
Otherwise, I'd be like, why are they not saying it? Because he's had a day off. They should know. But, tricks of the trade, Brad. I hope he's ready to go. They need a win as a team, and they need him to provide everything that he does.
Yeah, no doubt. Some pretty good front court players there for Boston, including, but certainly not limited to Jason Tatum. So if those guys end up going head-to-head, that could be pretty fun to watch. But obviously you want your second-best player on that court right next to LeBron James.
And listen, the motivation hasn't been easy this year for teams, especially a team like the Lakers who didn't have an offseason. I mean, we've said many times we're excited with where they are, but some of these nights it's hard to get up. But when it's the Celtics, it's a primetime national game, you're coming off 2 losses, we're not going to have to worry about that.
Yeah, coming off 2 losses and, having some time, a little time to rest and regroup. It's tough. They hit a funk at the wrong time. It happens. I couldn't imagine being a lawyer, like going in the courtroom trying to, fight off a migraine or a stomach ache or something like that. Sometimes that's what these guys are up against in the middle of a road trip. No excuses. Still got to get it done, but they should be rebooted now after 2 losses. AD's rested. I want to see some energy.
Yeah, this team really does not like to lose 2 in a row, which they just did. They certainly do not want to lose 3 in a row. It's okay to lose to Philly. I'm okay with that loss.
Yeah.
The Lakers were up by a point. Last-second shot by Tobias Harris. You can deal with that. But I think they're probably a little stung by what happened in Detroit a couple nights ago, losing by 15 to a team that really is not that good. So that's been in the back of their minds the last 48 hours. I think they're going to come out strong and definitely try not to lose that 3rd game in a row.
Yeah, every team plays their best when the champions come to town. It's weird. It's
Even
weird.
Detroit,
I don't know
who's got
what
5
it is.
wins.
They play their
5-14.
best, so they have to be ready for that.
Yep.
Lakers and Celtics will renew their historic rivalry tonight in Boston. For the latest on tonight's matchup, we check in with Laker reporter Mike Trudell. Hey, Mike, you got some new news for us regarding Anthony Davis?
Yeah, guys, he is in to start the game, so that's certainly good news for the Lakers after the 1 game with the thigh bruise. He went out there and looked pretty good in warm-ups, and, yep, he's starting the game. So when the sound here, you're going to hear me ask about AD, and Frank Vogel at this point didn't yet know that. So just now we have the information. That is good. He is starting. Then we move on to talk about Tatum and Brown and some other things about this matchup. So here's the head coach a couple moments ago.
Well, those two are certainly highly dynamic. And, obviously the versatility of having switchable defenders, it helps any defense. But what those guys do on the offensive side of the ball, or what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball, with Brown actually being the leading scorer for them right now. We know what Tatum can do. It's a thunder and lightning type of thing, and they got a lot of other firepower too. So this team's a legitimate contender to win the East, and they haven't really been at full strength yet this year. So I think only one game where they've had everybody at full strength. So this will be another test for them, or our first look at them.
And Frank, any patterns you've noticed from the last two games in contrast to the previous games when you had been winning? Is there anything that stood out about the reasons why those turned to losses instead of wins?
Yeah, I mean, a guy hit a game-winning shot on one of them, and we ran out of gas in another. We just I thought we played with good energy throughout the Detroit game. I thought, in watching the tape, Detroit played a really good basketball game. They made a lot of guarded shots, and it falls in the bucket in my mind of, you're going to get teams' best shot, and it's not always just effort, but you can have guys like Blake Griffin that have a throwback type of night, you know what I mean? And a lot of those situations were good defense. You tip your cap to them, but we faltered a little bit offensively, couldn't make a shot down the stretch, and you're going to have nights like that.
All right, there you go. So once again, Anthony Davis, that is the big news, Chris. He is available and will start for the Lakers here.
All right, thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. We're heading to break. Plenty more ahead here on Access Sportsnet Lakers. We'll look back at Kyle Kuzma's strong performance last time out. Plus, don't forget to vote for your Laker All-Stars. Votes count double today. Get it in, Brett.
Amen.
Wanted the production from Kuz in the starting lineup was there. He played 30 minutes. He had 22 points, 9 of 17, and he hit 3 of 7 from 3. He had 1 block, and he had a double-double, 10 rebounds. We're going to hear from Kuz later in the show, talking to Allie. Time for a little Access 360, brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times. So Kuz got the start. Did you like what you saw from him